Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, Fran fam. I'm your host, Francyne Walker. Thank you, God, for another day. I'm excited about today for episode 66. I'm excited about my guest who has been my guest a couple of times. She's not only been my guest a couple of times, she is actually my Reiki practitioner. And I'm excited to have her on the show to talk a little bit more about the winter solstice that starts tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I am someone who deals a lot with the winter blues. And she's going to talk a little bit about that, the shift of energy. You've probably seen my my stories, my Facebook post, my Instagram post, talking about my shifting of energy, decluttering. I'm renovating the sunroom to be my style studio, where I will be taping my shows as well as doing some other things as far as the photos and that kind of thing. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Davina Brooks. Best Life, Best Version is her company, and she is your neighborhood Reiki master. Before I bring her on, let me just give you a little bit of background about Davina. Davina Brooks is the founder of Best Life, Best Version. She is an extreme optimist, mother of three, entrepreneur, Reiki master, minister of faith, community activist, and volunteer. Philanthropic. Okay, Fran, you know what that is. Philanthropist. Fun-loving, smart, and caring. After many careers and educational opportunities, marriage, and divorce, Davina began a journey to discover happiness, purpose, and who to be for herself and her children. To determine what is most important to Davina found that if she has a positive impact on the world to be the most satisfying and rewarding thing. Davina is here to enjoy life and choose to do so through service. She was inspired to create a nonprofit, Best Life, Best Version, a mission to help others find their happiness right where they stand in order to create their best life. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Davina to the show. Hi.
I remember the first time I came on, you were like, oh my God, you're my cousin. And I feel like, yes, I am your cousin.
You are my cousin. Yes, and for those who have missed, you can check those shows out on YouTube and my Facebook. When I first met Davina, I said, you look like my cousin Sabrina. I swear, I'm looking at her right now, and every time I look at her, I think of Sabrina. And Sabrina is one of my favorite cousins. We got into a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, so, here we are. And here it is.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your this winter solstice. Let's get into that.
So winter solstice, what does that mean? Because I think that we see it on the calendar. We see all these holidays that we don't like, oh, what's that? And then we just kind of glance over it. We don't realize that this is a real, this is the most spiritual time. Yes, we have Christmas coming up, and it's always going to go into the week of Christmas, okay? And you feel that energy just bursting up almost to where, it's beautiful outside. Winter solstice is the renewal. That is what it is. And we look at Christmas and New Year's. Sure. As we're going to go into Christmas, we're going to do this routine. Well, of course, we're going to celebrate and know that it's for the celebration of Christ. And then we're going to go into the new year, and we're going to maybe make some resolutions, maybe. But we know that that's a typical pattern routine. But what I want people to really focus on is this energy. This is the lock-in time to shift. Winter solstice is considered the first day of winter. It's also the shortest day of the year. And what it really is the renewing. Even the weather right now, if you look outside, it looks almost like spring.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is not go against it, but to connect with it, to really tap into yourself, because it's speaking to us. It's saying, okay, this is when the blossoming and planting of seeds and planning of your new quote unquote year, any resolution, anything that you're going to go in with, you want to use this natural energy that is produced.
Sure.
Is what's called the winter solstice. So next year, this time next year, you want to embrace this. We want to look forward to the winter solstices. And we have so many planetary things that are going on right now. I think I shared on my page about a big alignment that doesn't happen but every 800 years. So we're part of that.
Yeah.
And that's hugely significant because we're on this planet and all of those things affect us, not just, oh, going to the grocery store and coming home, or, oh, let me try to, at this point, homeschool these children. And that's becoming the mundane routine. And when we get outside of it, and we get outside and allow it to become bigger and connect to that, to connect to ourselves, then we can definitely breathe in winter solstice and allow those energies to really come in for us.
Okay, so let me throw a little challenge at you, Davina, because for me, and I wouldn't throw this at you if I didn't know you were up for the challenge.
Absolutely.
For me, winter, I mean, that sounds all nice, you know. Winter solstice sounds so beautiful. However, for me, winter solstice, winter itself has kind of a somewhat negative connotation outside of Christmas, which I love Christmas. I love, people say I love snow. I saw something that said, you like winter cozy in your house, warm, you don't like winter when you have to drive in it. Right. So there's those. And then there's people who love winter because there's sports, they ski, they snowshoe, and whatever else you do, you ice skate, whatever else is cold, whatever, those things are that when you go outside is cold and it's like, okay, you got to bundle up to play. For me, winter, I noticed the shift for me right at the end of November where, okay, it's coming. Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm getting ready to say? I started to feel sad, otherwise known as seasonal affect disorder, right? So, or winter blues. So how do we move forward? And the only thing that saved me was this decluttering project that I'm on. And we'll talk about that because I've got some pictures, to show as a result of working with you through my virtual Reiki sessions, which I love because I don't have to get out the house, in this stuff because I hate to drive in the winter. But how do we tackle the winter blues? Because that to me is you want to harness this energy, but girl, it's taking all my energy just to move, and it's like I think I'm going to stay in the bed today. I mean,
absolutely, you're not the only one. Obviously, we know that. I don't want to say suffer from this.
Yeah,
you said you noticed around November, and then this has been going on for. It could have been going on for a year. It could have been going on for some years.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand what that was. Like, wow, it hit me, and I didn't realize that's exactly what it was. I think maybe in the last 5 or 6 years, I've come to understand, oh, you go through this. This is normal, and these are the things that happen when winter comes. And it's long. It's a
Yeah.
long period.
Winter for people that experience this. So those people that are running outside and like, oh, I can't wait for it to snow. Winter is short. And
Yeah.
you want to say, well, to even say, oh my God, it's winter solstice, and it sounds cheery, and it's like, by humbug. I don't feel like that. That's not where my mind space is. Although I wouldn't mind for my mind to be in that, because I know that that would bring me out of this. It would make me rejuvenated. And so what you can do is, one, recognize that, embrace it. You're not alone. It happens to multiple people, and get ahead of it. You say in November, I feel like this in November, and I go through these changes. But what's something new that you can put in place in October to bring your focus to that will last you through that long winter? You want to develop a project, and the more that you can refocus your focus, it will make you feel more accomplished. And that's something, and it doesn't have to be a big anything. It could be a puzzle. It could be, for myself, I said, well, instead of saying I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 days for my New Year's resolution, how about I try something new? Because I've been doing that for 20 years over and over again. So instead of doing that, what happens is your body will go through a repetition. And so now it knows it's November, and it switches on, and it thinks it's supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So once you become aware and conscious of it, don't beat yourself up over it. You embrace it. You say, okay, this is me. I'm normal. How do I get ahead of it? How do I get out of this feeling? How do I keep my upward swing? I'm coming off a fall, and I know it's going to be cold outside. What are some of the things that I haven't done around the house that I can do for an hour a day or two, something that way? We'll get into that. Or something, what can I get a book? Is there anything that I wanted to learn and that I didn't, that I put off? So those things also, that's a perfect time to look at the things you're procrastinating on.
Oh, wow.
If your mind focused on something else, and you'll look up and it'll be March.
Yeah.
And you will work through those exchanges and emotions, and definitely resting. I'm going to say this as my great grandmother, she said, you're supposed to take naps. Resting actually rejuvenates you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that is healing. That's not being lazy. Listen also to your body as well. So it is another time to get back in tune with your body, your spirit, your mind, and you want that healing.
Sure.
That's what you're craving. So it feels like you're going through something. So you're sad.
Yeah.
Right? So the sad is the opposite. They even name it that. So that makes me, well, I'm not happy. And it puts you in that state. And it's a way to work through that. A few different ways. Yeah. But one, recognizing and embracing it.
Sure.
And getting ahead of it, and getting a little project, something, again, a little something.
So tomorrow is December 21st, the beginning of the winter solstice, the shortest day. Is that correct? The shortest day.
Correct.
So that means less sunlight. But you know what I have done in the past is, what you're saying is, do something new. Get outside I get out. It's like, okay, Pipe, let's go outside. Piper, my dog, let's go outside. Let's, I throw, just so that I get the fresh air. So it's
Absolutely.
like, so if I'm dressed warm, and it gives her exercise, versus me probably taking a walk. This is the exercise we're going to get. And,
Right.
because I don't like being cold. But it's the shortest day, the days get shorter, the nights get longer. What is the significance of tomorrow, there's this energetic shift that we should be taking advantage of. How should we be doing that?
Well, you want to do, number one, definitely get outside tomorrow, because it's supposed to be here in Michigan at least 40 degrees. And we know that's hot.
That is, yes, it is. Yes.
That's like sweater weather, So definitely go ahead and take the time and get outside.
Okay.
Go, if you don't, you want to make sure, if you have any rituals that you do, to get to take advantage of this will be the perfect time, because winter solstice pulls off of the moon's energy. And again, we have that great alignment of Jupiter coming up. It's a good time for self-reflection. And really, this is the time you want to kind of sort through and plan your next move. And that's one focus that we can come into and expect. The powerful energy signals powerful transition points between seasons. So we don't want to ignore that. We know that we're moving into, that's the first day of winter. Yeah. And we want to go in with the upbeat of that. So riding that energy that is expected to come, I think that what we're going to see is really a burst of energy from a lot of people. It's going to it already feels differently from this past 2020. And and people are nervous going into 2021. Like, I thought 2020 was going to be a great year, and it didn't turn out that way for some. For some, it did.
Yeah.
And how do we go in with greater expectations? And this is the time to go in with greater expectations, not on the 31st. And I think that with whatever we had in, that you normally do on the 31st, you want to do that tomorrow. You want to celebrate tomorrow. Celebrating brings more celebration to your spirit. Right. You really want to just and then that is whatever your level of what celebration. So meditation, getting in a peaceful state. However, whatever you would use to relax and be calm. Call some good friends, have a good conversation.
Dance,
put on some music. Definitely put on some music. Just check on everybody.
Move,
and see where they are. Because tomorrow, I really think that people are going to feel this burst of energy and really just hone into that.
Because you are as I read through your bio, you are the extreme optimist. And I know when we are doing my sessions, we do the follow-up conversation. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I will say something and you will, and it's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily a pessimist, but sometimes we forget to exercise compassion towards ourselves. Every now and then, I'm not always that way where for the most part, I do exercise compassion, but sometimes in recounting different things that I've experienced, I might have said, yeah, but I didn't do something favorably. And you will say, but wait a minute, that's not who you are now. So you have this way of reframing the experience, not so much that it is you are coddling me, because I'm not one to be coddled, but you have this way of doing that. So can we encourage, do you think it's fair to encourage those who are looking around at others where 2020 was more favorable for them? We all have collectively experienced a great amount of, even if it's 6 degrees of separation, we've experienced that grief. We just lost Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon.
That was heavy. Oh my God. It was so shocking.
That hit me, when I was on the phone and I was talking to someone and I was like, And I had never met him. And it's like, well, where have you been? Obviously not in the same room, right? But
Right.
I knew of him. I mean,
He just felt like
you just felt like you knew.
everybody felt like you had met him, even though you never physically had been in the same room. You
Yes.
knew him. He was so
Just
open. And so, yeah.
just a force, in a positive way. And
Yeah.
everybody was posting pictures of him, with him. I mean, my timeline was full. And this is kind of like the third or fourth person. And it's not, we've lost 300,000 people. So collectively, we're grieving. The nation is grieving, and it's hit after hit after hit. So we've got that on us. But even in the midst of that, some people have managed to flourish.
Yes.
And so it might cause some of us to look around and feel like, what about me?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And I thought about that, and I thought about the work that we did, and I was going to want to explain a lot of that. So talk to Fran in our first session, and this beautiful segue into it.
Yeah.
So the best way that I can describe it is we have these tabs on our computer that are running in the background. We have those in our life. Tabs that are markers, that are shockers, that the grief will isolate you, and that becomes a marker in your spirit. And so from there, every single move you make is out of that, but that is not who you are. That incident has had an effect on you. So collectively now, the country is experiencing all of these emotions together, and it has a greater impact on how, especially if you're empathic, what you're feeling right now. So it may feel a lot heavier. And then if you go into a comparison mode, like, well, that person did well, why am I not where they are? Well, you're equally as important, number one.
Right.
So you have to realize for yourself. And also, if you go out into nature, I always use this comparison. When you look at the forest, the tree standing next to the other tree doesn't look at the other tree like, oh, you have more leaves or branches, or you grew bigger and I'm not as big. And that is a direct reflection of you. When I mean that literally, when we look around us, we are seeing God's work reflected back through our eyes. It's a mirror.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel like looking in the actual physical mirror, go outside and notice every beautiful point there is. That's you, my dear. That's you.
Yeah.
And use that energy, embody that, and tomorrow most definitely is where you want to come in charging and ready to go. Now, are you going to feel like that every moment? Maybe not. But you know that you can reach back for that moment. And a good thing to do is to make a list. I have it right here on the side. Count your blessings.
Oh my God. This is so divine. I had a picture, and I was going to post it I was trying to figure out, I'm trying to be more intentional with my Instagram feed, and it was like, wait a minute, because I knew I wanted to promote our show. And this time last year, I had posted, Facebook does these memories, right? So a year ago, it was a purple, one of my favorite colors, if you can tell. Can you guys tell? It was Count Your Blessings, and it was just tick marks. Just, how you do 5 or 4 and then 4. It was just a bunch of tick marks, and this is Count Your Blessings. And the thing about it is, what I've always learned or knew or come to learn is, the more you count your blessings, you can't stop. You will, once you start, you can't stop. It's like, oh, thank you for this great hair day. Oh, thank you for my breath. Thank you. It's like you can literally from the little to the big,
And can I add something to that? Two
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Definitely. Once you start, I like that you said that, and it doesn't stop. And thank you. Now, when I do work with people in their meditations, the mantra that I give them is usually thank you. Or if I'm in the beginning, as sometimes I'll say, okay, when you're drinking water, in your mind, say thank you, because it actually puts you in a gratitude. When you receive something, you're in a receptive mode of it. Okay. So
Sure.
you're opening up yourself to every good thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So definitely that. And it has been proven that one thought will support the next thought within 17 seconds, no matter the thought. So you get to choose your space. That's why I said get out ahead of it. Get into a project, something that you can focus on that's positive. So if you think, oh, I have a great hair day. Oh, my makeup looks nice. Oh, now this. Oh, because those thoughts will follow the next one. But if you're like, you know what? That person really is taking off. We started at the same time. Why aren't I like that? Why not? Those thoughts will follow the same pattern as well. It doesn't care what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It's just here to support it because it's beautiful by design.
Yeah.
You get to actually put yourself to practice this. And you actually even said that too. You said sometimes we don't practice being so kind to ourselves. Sometimes we think we don't deserve to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
So all of these, if this is new information, if you've been practicing some of those quote unquote negative, which is, it just is. And if it makes you feel not so great, then you might want to find things that are healthy, meditation, deep breathing, reading.
And this is good. This
Yeah.
is good because you said, because I'm learning, even as I'm growing my brand, you follow certain people, not so much there, because everyone's blueprint is you can be doing the same thing, and your blueprint is going to look immensely different, right? And like I was telling you, I don't know who I was talking to. Someone that I admire started following me, and here I am with my 25 or 2,800, I think it's 2,800, almost 3,000 followers, and they have like 61,000. And it's like, they're following me. Now, am I going to go ahead and try and pattern myself after them? Of course not. And someone said, put your blinders on. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, that's true.
You, right?
With your focus, absolutely.
And it's like, there's no one like you. You are your secret sauce, right? So it's so, I like what you said about, all the different things you can do, prayer, meditation, getting out in nature, even if it's just standing and I'm sitting, because let me go, what I did last year was I'd make my coffee, go out there in the daytime with a candle, and just sit bundled up with my coffee and a candle. Dog is going about on the lawn, just to be outside. One of the things I want to touch on, and then something that has come as a result of my sessions with you, and the ability to make a decision to do some emotional clearing. Or as a result of the Reiki sessions that we've had virtually, the emotional clearing enabled me to come to a space where I started a major project. You talked about project. And this project included me decluttering one of the rooms in the home that I inherited from my mom, my sister and I. So it's like, so being a responsible homeowner, I'm looking at ways to add value to our home, and also create some space and harmony in this space. This is the shelter for our spirit. What can I do to make this better? But I was not open to that until I knew that, but I was not open to doing the work. Let me say that. You can know and not be ready to do the work, or even recognize you need to do the work. So this was physical work.
So can I add to this?
Yes.
So the work that Fran and I did, and she segued into it, is that the tab that was open and running in her background, she was physically still focused there. I'm on the outside of it. So what I was able to do is go in a little shamanism, a little time travel, go in and pull her out of it, pivot Fran's sight, and have her see it from a different angle. And when we did that, that's when she was able to really begin to allow a lot of things to break down and to fall away and become more of herself. And in that process, that's the energy clearing. And then we began our Reiki sessions after that. So this was a decluttering of that, because over the years it had built up so much emotional clutter that it became physical, or holding that energy in that space. I'm so excited for Fran, and I'm so excited to be able to do that work with you, and for it to bring you to here. It's been amazing. But yeah, I was able to go in, pull you out, pivot your sight, and that's what I'm saying. Those shockers you could forever be standing in that point. And it feels like, even though you're here today physically, it feels like it's still happening to you every day. And you don't have to live your life in that way. That's the work that I do.
Yeah. I mean, and I was telling you, normally I said, oh, I'm so nervous. And, I changed my necklace. I changed my, I was like, and then before we went live, it's like, okay, am I good? Because, I'm transparent. I'm selectively transparent, specifically as it relates to things that have happened in my life. I mean, we went back to when I was 4 years old, and something that I don't really talk about, and not so much am I going to get into the details, but I was actually an adult then, saving the day, literally saving a loved one's life. So we went back there until this point, till it's like the way I process this now, it's like, I've been an adult since I was 4. I am capable, you know what I mean? And so here we are after the initial, I had you on the show, and I was intrigued, and you were like, hey, let's do this. And then we got into the okay, this is where we're doing this on a regular basis, and having these conversations. So let me show you guys how Davina and I were so in sync. She did a virtual session, Reiki session, with me, where I'm home. She's home. We don't come in contact, but energy is energy. It doesn't have to be, where it doesn't have to be right next to you. That's what energy is. It's all energy. And I started decluttering. Mind you, decluttering my one room. I'm starting with one room. It had 3 generations of items and things and possessions, from when my son was a baby. No, not from when he was a baby. 2002, there were trophies when he played baseball for a time, or stickball, or whatever it is, t-ball, up until when he was in college. Things from my mother, my son, my niece, my sister. Did I have anything? It doesn't matter. And things, just things. Yes, it was just so cluttered, literally, that I started and I got halfway through, and I will show you. So I'll show you the picture in a minute, but when I told her, she didn't even know I was doing that. But when we did our follow-up call, because we always do a follow-up call after our Reiki session, so she lets me know what came through and what chakras were, in alignment or out of alignment. And I'm just, that's not the way, but I'm just giving you that, correct? Where it's like, okay, this is what I saw. And what she saw, and I'll let you tell because, yeah, you saw the release or something, because you tell it better, that part.
Well, so think about that one. When we have our sessions, though they change.
Yes.
Each session changes you because you're not the same person when I first started and when I finished. And so that shift, that one was a releasing. That is what for that one, I recall sitting at my desk and we talked about this and you started talking about everything. And I was like, wow, if I had said that first, she would have thought I was spooky.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to think that I'm just co-signing, but it was everything that Fran had explained to me that she had began to purge, that was what it had gotten to that point because that area had been blocked mentally. And so once we did our initial work, it allowed for all of those areas to come down and she could be more clear. Now that means a translation into a physical.
Yes.
And so that was a clearing of her mental space, a clearing of, and what I saw was a tunnel, a flow that was quite open and like a conduit, and energy was flowing through. So now that it's flowing through, what you want to do is allow more of it, allow the conduit to expand and increase your flow, increase your connectivity.
Yeah.
That is winter solstice. So we're right on. Don't feel like, oh, I didn't think of this. I wish I had did this last week. So now I can plan for winter solstice, because guess what? Winter solstice comes every year.
Yeah.
And now that I'm bringing, this is to bring you to the awareness. So once I say it, you know it. And tomorrow you're like, oh yeah, that's what's going on. And you'll have something to look forward next year. So it really gives you a momentum. So we got it open, definitely flowing. It just looked like a tunnel of wind flowing through.
And it's so interesting that you say that. Because when you said that, the openness and the tunnel, and I remember talking to my girl, Christy, and I was telling her, so this is the way, this is before. Okay. That is my room before.
Yeah. And what I do want to say too, you say that there are 3 generations in there. I know a lot of times people won't want to do it. And your house, your room, this is room, it's just typical in a lot of houses because it's emotional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we don't want to let go. And we feel like if we let go, we don't want to deal with, and we don't want to, even touching the items will spark something.
Oh God, yeah. Well,
oh yes. And then next thing you know, you're spiraling out and you're running off, and you have the intention on completing that. And what we discuss is go ahead and touch some of the things, tag what you can.
Yeah.
Where you tag and then have the plan on having it moved out by someone else who's not connected.
And so with that being said, that's exactly what I decided to do. I did half the room.
Mm-hmm.
I did half the room so I could create, because you can't see it. You can't even see the door, right? That's that door. There's a door on the other side, and there's another door. So there's two entrances to that room. One lets out into the driveway. The other door lets out into the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
So my intent was to create a conduit, a pathway from one end to the other. I said, I need a path. I need to get to that door. I had not held that door I had not gone through that door in years. Like, I could literally say, hey, come to the back, that is an entrance. We look at, as far as this is a potential space, an Airbnb space.
And doors are gateways.
And doors are gateways. I needed both gateways open.
Yep.
And I had to climb over. I mean, this was the Amazon box catch-all, but not just Amazon boxes. This was before Amazon, where we had boxes and boxes from everything.
Mm-hmm.
From everything. It's like, we get a flat screen TV, we put the box out there. We get this, we put the box out there. So when you said that about the pathway, that was in my mind. And I told my girlfriend, I said, I got to get that. And I was climbing. I fell one time and I got up so slow. Like, oh, Lord, you ain't 25, right? You ain't even.
Never mind that. Did you have to bleep anything out?
I didn't need a first alert. But I did get up slow, like, ain't nothing broken.
Right.
Nothing's broken. Okay. So I got up slow, and then I kept going.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, that was in one day. I remembered I was talking to my girlfriend that night and I said, yeah, I'm going to do. But that was me already. And I was so ready. I went to bed, so I could hurry up and get up. You know what I mean? It's like, let me go to sleep so I can hurry up and get up so I can get started on this. Because I wasn't going to do it that night, but it almost felt like it. But then I started. And then it took me one day to get that other side out. I was down for 2 days because I really didn't understand. I was in adrenaline mode. So I didn't realize to slow down, but I got halfway, I got it through. And then there was an area, and I saw some things that belonged to my mom before, when she was in the hospital, and different things. I put some things in the shed, but it was that corner. And it was still some things that belonged to my mom. And I mean, I found incense. I started burning that incense with my smudge stick.
Yeah.
I'm clearing this energy. I'm clearing this space. I got this conduit now. I've got this pathway. So here we are. And the space is open. And there's that corner. And what you said about, you don't have to do this by yourself.
That's correct.
And what made me come to that conclusion that I didn't have to do it by myself, and it was just divine order that I came to that, because it was going to inevitably be that decision, was I was going to have them come out to measure for carpet. And I'm thinking, okay, once they give me the measurements, because I did it with the tape measure, but it's like, no, I want the real deal. And so they said, well, you have to put down a deposit, and you can use it towards your purchase. Well, I thought it was just the purchase. It's like, no, purchase and installation. I said, well, cancel it. And then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. Why am I even thinking about installing anything? Let them do it. So that got me to thinking, that corner that still needs to be cleared, that feels, a little, I looked at it for a couple of times and it just looks like Jenga. I said, I ain't want to pull nothing from it. I got on the horn and, my phone literally, and found TaskRabbit. and set up an appointment for someone else to touch that stuff. I didn't even, and at first I was going to stand out there. I sat in the recliner on my laptop as he took all that stuff down. I didn't even want to look at it yet. I didn't even want to touch it, but I just wanted it downstairs, because it's like, you got 1,500 square feet of space, put it downstairs, deal with it, get that space open. So that's what I did. I did not. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And that's what I learned. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that mental, emotional heavy lifting. 3 generations in a whole day. Alfred, take it from here. So, but yeah.
And so how did you feel in all of that? How did it?
I feel like a badass. I mean, and what I feel like, I feel, that's what I feel like. And for anybody that it's not over, you know what I mean? As far as I'm still, but once that space was clear, he came through. I had him put out a slew of cardboard that I let sit in the back. It's like, first of all, I'm not violating code, and I'm not doing it. I had boxes still piled, like that pile you see. And this is what it looked like when I was done.
Transformation.
You talking
about, people did not know that was a door because of the boxes before, right?
No, you didn't.
You were like, that's a door. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's a door. Right. Yes, that's a door.
Wow.
And those are the windows. So it's 3 windows. Then there's a window that looks into the family room. What you see that is a dresser. That's my son's dresser that I bought for him. That was there. But that's what it looks like now compared to this. We went from that to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this carpet, I don't know how old it is, but this house, let's see. My mom bought the house almost 35 years ago. I don't remember. I think that's probably the last time I saw that carpet. No, honestly, but it feels it feels amazing. I feel, I've been taking my time. You said let that because so much energy was there, let the room set. So I've done that over the weekend. I'll start back having the carpet laid, and I'm not doing any of that. I'm having having it winterized. Do the windows. I'm having somebody do all of that. I could get used to paying someone to do a whole lot. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it's worth it. It's so worth it.
It's so worth it. And the other thing that it does is once you start, that it changes the entire energy of your home.
Yeah.
That's just from our meeting. And now it's shifting your house, and then that creates a positive flow, and it spreads throughout the house.
Yeah.
Now, and I did make the recommendation, just let the room energy settle. Now, one of the things you said that you do is to light a candle. You go in there and just meditate in that space, bring that energy back up, because what was stored there is still, you said you could go in a corner and you could feel a certain energy, and you want to smudge it out, make sure you're clearing it up, open the doors, let a breeze come out and through a prayer, set your intentions, and that is the starting spark to the rest of whatever it is that you're going to be working on.
The entire house.
The entire house, right? Because you start there and you're like, that was fantastic, and it becomes that becomes contagious.
Yeah.
That's what you really want. So I had it setting intentions, talking about a ceremonial burn.
Yes.
It's something that you could definitely do for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that people do that. What I recommend, and I've done this before, is to burn what you want to bring in. So make a list of joy, happiness, nothing. If it's something specific, that's you. I don't know. But these are general things, kindness, health, definitely for that. So that's one thing you could do. Definitely use this energy, the spring energy, to spring clean. You're purging, you're letting go and releasing. A lot of people like to create vision boards. I'm an advocate of vision boards if you are able to, number one, emotionally connect to it. And that is the positive emotional connection.
How does one do that, Davina, make emotional connection? Because I know I have a perpetual vision board, and there's still some things, but that I have not checked off. And I probably can start checking them off because of that decluttering, I feel ready to make the connection, because the gateway is open.
Yeah.
So how does one make that connection?
Take a look at, I encourage everyone to pull out your old vision board. Okay. So vision board is supposed to be a part of a law of attraction, which I'm a law of attraction coach, happiness coach. And with looking at that vision board, when you look at those pictures, if you feel like, oh, I didn't do that, or when, it's not really a to-do list. It's put on there and you get in and emotionally connect to it. You see yourself there. You feel what it feels like to experience whatever it is that you're putting on your board. Now, what I find with a lot of people, they put these romantic relationships on their board and then they're like, those people are stupid. Well, that may be some energy that you need to clear up for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you look at your board and it gets mixed emotions by looking at some of the pictures, like you're happy with one, but you're mad about the other, you're sending that signal out. And that's so important in why a lot of times people's vision boards don't manifest.
Yeah. Baby, we've had a conversation where moment of transparency, when I said, I think I'm ready, but I don't want to talk to a lot of people, where it's like, because I don't believe in suffering through conversations and being polite. And it's taking, like, if I don't like you or I don't like your attitude, it's like, hey, girlfriend, if I text you, call me so I can get out of this date. I just don't it is, yes, because I just don't believe in sitting through anything. And you can ask people, it's like, I'm not feeling this energy. And if I rode with you and you want to stay, guess what? Uber is a call away, so. But you were like, but are you really ready? Given, and I was like, I think so, but I don't think I was so much ready as it was related to, even through this clearing. And we're going to talk about this because I want to make sure people take advantage of the greatness that you are, that I've benefited from, where even today, just now, even making that connection, I'm talking about romantic relationships. Sometimes there is a block, So
what happens is, so that's why that came, because people would put that on their board. Really, if that's on your old vision board, that's okay. You didn't know. It's okay. Poor thing. You didn't know. This time, put things for yourself. What do you want to attract and improve in yourself? And that typically will be the reflection that you get back in your mate.
Yeah.
Those areas that old vision board, that's who you were.
Yeah.
The new one that you probably intend to create, now that you're knowing, okay, I see this new job or this new business, and what does it feel like to be successful in that? So the word success, you want to sit into that energy. What does success feel like?
Sure.
For some people, success is breathing in through their nose and going out through their mouths. And we take that for granted a lot of times. Being able to breathe.
I know I want to, so we definitely want to make sure that people connect with you to start their virtual sessions. And I have a couple of questions. I want to take some in because I don't want to take too much of your time because you and I will just go on and it's like, oh, it's an audience, because that's just how connected, how, just the connection and just the ease.
Yeah. And it should be easy. It should be just that.
Easy, because you really want to connect with someone, as far as your practitioner, Reiki master. It's just like anything else. It's gotta be, because I've shared some things with Davina that I have not shared with a whole lot of people, but because I trust, but I trust selectively and with wisdom. So Amber says, should I burn to attract or to release?
You should burn which you feel strongest in, okay? So if you feel like you want to attract something, you're lacking in that area. So burning, it sounds, the way that it comes through, it sounds like you want to do some releasing first. That's what I'm gathering. And so that you can attract. You don't have to just do it once. You can do it, make their list for releasing, the letting go. That's also purging. If it's a physical purge, emotional purge, that's what you want to do. You're going to feel it somewhere in your body, the strongest. I need to let this go. Because if you're holding on to that and you want to attract, you're still holding on to what you wanted to release. So give that up first, and then allow joy, allow happiness, allow well-being to come in, and expect it. Once you release, you can also go into another allowing, a thank you. Even put that on there. You can title it thank you and then go down the list and do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That is so good. I think, I wanted us to come on and talk about specifically, I guess this was educational and testimonial. Because from where I started, from the beginning, because I think it was in July, and then we started, we had a couple where it's like, okay, and then it's like, now let's start the practice, where it's a series, and the foundation, because in any treatment, I don't want to say treatment, but with any process, there's that laying the foundation. And once you lay the foundation, let me see if I see another. Okay, Amber says thank you. So once you lay the foundation, then you can decide, okay, how to proceed. But I wanted people to understand it works.
It does. It's and that's where I am now with getting people to realize that Reiki is really a actual medical treatment.
Yeah.
And it's been labeled new age for people just who don't understand it. And so because I don't wear a white coat, I could wear a white coat. I don't write a prescription. I write a recommendation. And it's so outside of what it does is connect your physical body and your spiritual body. It brings you back into alignment. And when some medical doctors and some hospitals have actually practiced Reiki. So if it's practiced it's a medical treatment, but it is considered alternative, because you can't cut and do surgery. I am doing surgery, but I'm not doing it on the physical body. And Reiki brings every part of your body into attunement and alignment so that it can begin to heal itself. We're designed to heal ourselves.
So I think, would you say it's important to be open enough, because you might be a little
Absolutely.
closed because you don't know, it's the unknown, but be open enough. And then the more you go, as you go along, you will take care of the clothes being closed.
Yes, yes. So being open, having an open mind to what it is, definitely it is energy work. It's laying on hands, or I can do it remotely. Reiki level practitioners too and masters are able to do remote Reiki. And that is a fantastic phenomenon that is a gift. That is what I'm gifted with. I'm able to teach others how to do so and how to heal themselves. And that's the beautiful part, is when the Reiki practitioner receives a healing while offering and having sessions. And, and you don't get that. Your physician can't take your medication that they prescribe to you. And it's in conjunction and used as a complement to traditional medicine. So
Yeah.
definitely, the best way I can explain Reiki is, if people know what feng shui is, they'll go and move that furniture around their house to create this beautiful energetic flow. But if you haven't balanced your energy in your body, I don't care where you put that couch. Your house, I mean, you can walk in and try to do everything externally to create a positive environment for yourself, but it begins with this energy clearing, which is different from Reiki. And I explained that, that's when I am able to shift you and pivot your point, and then I do the Reiki session when the person is open and ready to receive the healing.
Can I interject? The energy clearing was highly extensive. I was excited because I knew that this was prepping me for something. I was just ready. The pandemic, it had fell on, all agreement, all of that had felt. I was open. So I think that's why I said that. If you just a little leery because you don't know, it's like, I'm not sure what this Reiki thing is. I did a little bit of homework just as a journalist, so I understood what I was about to experience. So I prepped. I had my cleared out space, had a little some plants and a candle. I played music, and you gave me different prompts to follow. I had pages and pages of stuff and then we had this conversation. But I wanted to make sure people understood exactly, what this. So it's like, yes, I remember now that was the initial. Then we went into the Reiki, because it's like we talked. It must have been about 2-3 hours just going through all of my stuff.
Okay. So the energy clearing, I do charge a fee for that, but don't cut people off. And I'll say, it may say an hour, a half an hour, but when I get to the person, I'm like, oh, even if you purchase a half an hour, I've had a person that I worked with for 3 hours and she is doing phenomenally. Okay. So, I don't cut it off. I give you where you are, and usually if I can get you to clear up enough of that, it helps to be able to receive, because those things were blocked. Those were things that were in the way for you that you couldn't get around. And so we try to do it on our own, or we think we've even conquered it because we weren't dealing with it, unknowing that we're dealing with it every day. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can, that's a good releasing. Yeah.
So Davina, I appreciate you beyond words, not just today, but just period. And I want to make sure people can experience breakthroughs that I have experienced. And I've got your website on the screen. I want to make sure it's www.bestlifebooks.com. bestversion.org.
That is correct.
Best way. Well, one of the ways, I won't say the best way, it's one of the best ways, extreme optimist. One of the best ways to get in touch with you to begin. This is a perfect time. We're talking about solstice, right? In conclusion, bring it back, the thesis. In conclusion, this is the best time, December 21st, 22nd, 23rd. I know, Black Twitter has been talking about this transference of power to Black people, but the real transference of power is the work that we have to do. It's not all on us like, I saw somebody say snowflakes. You got to do some work. You got to be intentional. You got to have a strategy.
You have to be ready. It's a transference of power, but if your mental, physical account is not open, where are you transferring it to?
Right. Exactly. Oh, I like that. You gotta get it about money. We've been on this money thing, and
listen, emotional debt.
Yeah.
The physical. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hold you. We got started a little later than we had planned, because I had to set things up, and it was like, oh, wait a minute, and I wanted to make sure we had everything in order. But bestlifebestversion.org is.
And if you're coming from Fran's site, anytime you view this, you get $5 off of whatever service you pick. How about that?
Yeah.
I encourage you.
It pays to know people, y'all.
$5 off, because I didn't put that on my website. But listen, we're still creating and developing. It's exciting. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited.
And I'm so excited for Life and Style with Francyne. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. And I love working with you, Fran. I do.
Yeah, it has been a joy. It has come, I've been working and always affirming things come with relative ease. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you won't feel, when I moved those things out and that room was completely clear. And my sister said, wow, I wish Ma could have seen this. And it's like, oh God, and it's like, me too. And that night, I had a cry, and it was just like, ooh, and I felt that wrenching inside, and it's like, cry through it, breathe, go to bed, but it's not, but you get through it.
Yeah, you have been actually holding on to it. So good that happened. Yeah.
So thank you so much. www.bestlifebestversion.org. She is, I have tagged her in the show. So you'll see, if you click on her name inside the announcement, the promotion for the show, you'll see that you can get in touch with her that way. I highly recommend you do this. Start now. Even if you don't start right in December, set it up. Life is just so much better when you have things to look forward to. That's why when they plan trips, it gives them something to look forward to. When they're planning a wedding, or they're planning an event or whatever, for a milestone, it's something to look forward to. So if you plan to do the energy clearing first, get there and really see, identify what's holding you back and what you need to get rid of, because we sometimes get so caught up thinking we're okay, and our money and our material things, and we can't eat it away, smoke it away, drink it away, sex it away. You can't. And all those things are good. You know what I mean? It's like, but it.
Okay, Solange.
You can't. It's like, right. So again, this is a testimonial and informative. I don't want to say it's an infomercial, and I don't want to take too much time, but I just want you guys to really understand the necessity of doing something. We've gone through a hellish year. You know, we've made some milestones. And if the only milestone you made was you survived, that in and of itself is a great one, because a lot of people cannot say that today, you know. So best life, best version. I'm on my way. Thank you, Davina, for you know, just sharing your gift, you know, as you call it, your neighborhood Reiki master. Thank you so much for heeding the call and just sharing where we can be and how far we can go, because I don't think I could have tackled that room if I had not cleared out the emotional junk that was sitting there. You know, like I said, it's like, okay, what's next? The basement? Oh, the family room, the living room, you know. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, $5 off. If you mention my name, you know, $5 off the services, each service. No, I'm sorry, whatever service you choose. But I would initially go with the energy clearing first as the beginning, to really get that on paper. Like I said, I'm a copious note taker and list maker. So I took this serious. Like I said, I prepped, I played Reiki music, I burned candles, I cleared space. You know, I make my bed, but I made my bed extra good, you know what I mean? And got ready and was like open. I wanted it to be an experience. So that's what I would recommend you guys do. Thank you again, guys, for tuning in. We did, you know, this was kind of like your second church service. I told her, I said, let's do it at 3. Once they log off a virtual church, they can come over to the virtual Reiki session. You know what I mean? The virtual show about Reiki. So I pray this was helpful. It was certainly just good to talk this through and share the testimony and what you can look forward to. So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to Life and Style with Francyne. I have missed doing the show. I took some time off, but I got some stuff done to prep for the 2021 Life and Style with Francyne. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging with me. And I'm just going to let you guys go, because I will keep talking and we'll keep talking, and I don't want to do that. So have a great rest of the day. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. Happy New Year. And I will see you guys soon. Take care. Thank you, Davina.